Green. So can everybody see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gordon just gave me a kind of brief introduction. I'll just give you a small little kind of background to myself. Just the QR code in the middle, that's a QR code to my LinkedIn. So if anybody wants to scan that there, they can, and then they can connect with me if they want. So I have 15 years experience in multiple projects in Ireland. So I'm 6.5 years with BAM. So I've been primarily working as a digital uh, construction specialist. So I'm basically the middleman between the design team and the guys on site. So we get the design from the designers, and then I kind of transfer it then to the guys on site, and they kind of work it out. So if there's missing details and stuff like that, they can go to me. I can interrogate the model, and then basically I can give them what they want, or I can ask the design team for more detail. Um, my main experience is, or my educational experience is architectural technology. I did 4 years altogether in both Donegal and in Scotland. I've done other couple of courses like construction CAD and Revit, and also I'm a qualified IM practitioner, so I've done my ISO kind of qualification as well. So that's kind of a brief background of my work experience, my college experience. Uh, so if I just go on to the next, so I'll just give you a quick a bit of context of the project I'm working on, so to give you an idea what we're kind of doing. So I'm working in UCD, so we're basically refurbing to the old existing science buildings. So these buildings were built in the 1970s, uh, right? So with our whole kind of plan or project is to strip them down to the existing structural frame and then refurb all the classrooms, all the offices, and then stick on this lovely new kind of cladding. So basically, and we're going to connect up the two buildings as well here. You see there's that's up here is the west building, and down over here is the north building. And what we're going to do is going to link the two together. So we had to strip it back down to its concrete frame, and then what we have to do then is scan that and then update our existing model to get back then to our sublease. So just kind of an overview of what the project I'm working on. So I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. And basically, so what Gordon has asked me to come and talk about is basically clash avoidance and as and the benefits of collaborative work in the AEC industry. So one of our main roles, or one of my main roles on the job is, uh, as I said to you before, the middleman between the design team and the guys on site. But what I'm doing now as well, I'm like between the design team and also the subcontractors. So you were saying that you have you're all set up on ACC now. You're in your little kind of pods, your little groups. So we predominantly use ACC as our common data environment for the project. So design, plan, build, and operate. So they're very important because we're going to start from here and finish there, hopefully. So we try to leverage ACC as much as we can on the project. So we're trying to pump in all the information we can and then utilize it as much as we can. So as you know, you can use on your mobile device, your iPad, your desktop, and your laptop. It's so when the lads are doing all their forms and checklists and they want to look at the models and want to look at drawings, they can do it anywhere on site or off site. So whether they're in the compound or if they're at home, they're always full access to ACC. Um, so I think you were saying, Gordon, that they're all set up on design collaboration. So as you can see here on the kind of left-hand side and all the different colors, that's all our subcontractors. So basically we have got them to buy in to using the common data environment using ACC. So the whole idea is, to have their cloud shared models on Revit, and they upload those. Sorry, yeah, the cloud shared models are up on ACC, and basically like they can share, uh, publish their models and share them as packages, and then the other task teams can basically consume all these models here. So what we've done is we have this like a benchmark room. It's called a sample room. It's one of the rooms that kind of was highlighted or designated to work on. So this is going to be like the benchmark. This is going to show the client and the design team how the information is going to be transferred and stuff like that. So taking all those models in, we can kind of consume them all together. I'll just kind of, yeah, so to use clash detection, we leverage model coordination in ACC. So once all the design teams, once all the tag team or task teams, once they publish all their models and they share their models, we can basically then copy it into a specific folder and a specific kind of coordination space where we can actually coordinate all the models and then we can run clash checks on those. And then what we can see here then is from the sampling room, you have your clash detection dashboard. So the models clashing, see on the left-hand side, they're like your primary models and then your secondary models, so which models are clashing with each other. And then what happens then in ACC is it runs an automatic clash detection where you can clash each models against each other. I'll just give like a quick overview of the clash detection, and then what I'll do is I'll open ACC and I'll show you how we're actually doing it and stuff like that. And as you can see there as well, what we plan to do is once we find a clash, we can basically assign that to the relevant party or a task team and just get them to resolve that. And then through like Revit and publishing your models, they should be able to rectify that change, update the Revit model, and then share it back as a package, and then we can consume it. And basically, once that has been resolved, once they've updated our model, shared it, and we consume it, that the clash should just disappear then. One or two ways you can actually look at these clashes is in both Navis and Revit. So say if you can actually open your Navisworks and basically you can open those models via the cloud, and there's a tab or an add-in, and it's called a coordination tab. And basically you can open up all your open issues that have been assigned to you, and you can actually navigate around the Navis model with those open issues. So it just gives you another kind of dimension to looking at issues, because in ACC the model coordination, some people are like it's a bit basic, whereas within Navisworks there's a lot more functionality to it. And then as well, the same add-in is available then in Revit as well. So if you're a modeler, you can actually open your Revit, bring in this add-in, and then basically open up those issues. So you could update the model as per the issues that are assigned to you, and then basically publish that and share it in the project team and resolve the issues in the model instead of having to open one and the other and vice versa. You can just basically do all your clash detection in, or you can actually review your issues in Revit. And then what I'll also show you as well about exporting the model data from your models as well. So this is leveraging ACC again, where you can just actually all that information that's pumped into the model, you can export it out from the model as well. So I'll briefly go on about that. And then another thing I might show you as well, if we have time, is I'll go into the insights as well. So all that information that's been pumped into your model, whether it's not just your models, but actually your forms, your checklists, your issues, your RFIs, everything that kind of goes through ACC, you can actually export that out again as well. And basically you can create all these kind of dashboards and stuff. So you can say like your health and safety or your quality, your QAC or QA or QAC guy can look at it and go, oh, how many risks are open or how many issues are open. So just one way to kind of graphically look at all the information. So I'll just come back to that, and what I'll do is I'll show you. I'll show you now. So this is ACC here. So this is a drawing, and this is the sample room that we're kind of going to look at. So this has been issued to us by the design team, and basically we issued this drawing then to our task team. And this, so you have a room data sheet. Oh, let's do this. Sorry. So you have a room data sheet. So this is all the information that should be in that particular room. So you can just, I'll give you this is all the elevations, this is all the equipment. And then what I'll show you then is, so on ACC, I have a specific folder set up for this BIM mockup. So this is the BIM mock / sample room. So I have a little kind of folder set up here, and I get the task teams. I get the task teams to share their models, and then what I do then, I get them to share them via design collaboration, And then what I do then is I consume those models and I just copy them into here. So what I can do then from this space is I can actually run a coordination space. So when when I go to model coordination on ACC, I can actually set up a coordination space just for the BIM mockup. So I have one there for the project information models. So that's all the models on the project. So that's for all design team to look at. But what I just, for this particular room, I just want to look up at the BIM mockup room. So this folder, or sorry, should I say this space is looking at, let's go back. So this, that model coordination space is actually pointing to this folder. And it's actually basically looking at all these models here. So you can do the same. So I have a project information model space as well. And you can see if I go in there, that's all the live models on the project. So when I go back into my coordination space, see the way I can actually flick between BIM mockup and project information models. You can see, this might take a minute, but it'll start loading in all the various models. And as I said to you before, on the left-hand side, they're like your primary models. And then on the top, they're the models that's clashing against. So like a light gray means no clashes. So that's model is clashing against its own model. And then it goes to the next model. And then what you can see here is the kind of the lighter orangey kind of colors. They're like minor clashes. It's not as many. Whereas you can see here, this model here, as you've highlighted over this particular orange, darker kind of orange, you can see that there's a lot of clashes. And but what ACC also does, it also highlights the two models for you, so you know which ones are clashing against each other. But as you can see, there's quite a lot of clashes in that one. So that's like a KH and a BAM. So that's like a steel model versus like an architectural model. So what I'll do is I'll just go back into the BIM mockup. And what I'll do is, as you can see here, there's a less amount of models, and basically it's for that particular room. So I got the task teams to share the models for that particular room. So there's, as you can see, there's not as many clashes, so that I'll just try and pick one in particular. So TBI are like our furniture specialists, and then Tritech are our mechanical specialists. So if I go Tritech, if I hover this, you can see the Tritech versus TBI spice. So if I select number 16 there, that'll basically open up
But they didn't hire another research assistant.
the two models that are being clashed against each other.
Like you have two strategies. And you're
Just repeat this. So once you select those two models, as you can see, it's clashing the two models against each other. So you can, as I said before, there's the primary model. So up here, you can change between your primary and your secondary model. So the primary is your first model, and then the secondary model is the model you want to clash it against. So what I have done here is, so that's the Tritech. So the Tritech is the mechanical, and TBI is the furniture. And so you can see, I have 22 clashes here on the left-hand side. So on our particular project, we have a construction tolerance. So everything is built within 25 mils of each other. So if I put in, see, you can actually change your tolerance here. So if I just put in 25 mil, you can see it comes down to 10 clashes. So like if there's a piece of pipe rubbing against a piece of furniture that's within 10 mils, that clash is now gone. So generally, anytime I'm setting up a clash detection, I always set up the primary, secondary models. I'd always kind of group by object. There's group by is like, it's another kind of way to kind of group your clashes. So like you could do like all ducting or all pipework and stuff like that. But I always just kind of, as you can see, there's so many categories there. I just leave it for object. Navis is a little bit more, you can refine it a little bit better than I think than ACC. So once you have your clashes established, what you can do then is, say if you select a clash, you can actually, it'll bring you to that clash. As you can see there, this is like an access zone, and then there's like a kind of shelf. And what you can also do as well, you can actually tick beside the clash, and that will actually highlight it. So say if you're over here and you want to go, like if you select that, See the way it'll bring it straight to it. So it was kind of handy. It was kind of useful. So the same as well, the pipe. You just select beside it, it'll kind of highlight the two changes. So on a bigger model, that tool is very important. It's useful because if there's a lot of models going on, it's just easier to kind of highlight the two. So now that you've kind of established your kind of clashes, what you can do then is, I'll just pick this one here. So if you select that, so there's two things you can do. You can either say, okay, it's an access zone. So generally, like if it's an access zone, you can either say it's not an issue or you can create an issue. Like I would say this is kind of not an issue. I'd say the access zone is like it should be back over here. So just say for argument's sake, you can actually say that's not an issue. So basically in ACC you can go, you give it a reason and you can say valid interface, valid penetration, minimum overlap. So I would say I would just go other and say not a clash. And then what that does then, that removes that clash. So you can go down, you can establish your clashes and then basically review them in that way. Say for this clash here, that's a valid clash. Now it's a piece of furniture clashing with a radiator, but it's clashed nonetheless. So basically the radiator is going where it's going. So basically the furniture needs to move. Or see the way you can actually see that the desk only needs to come this way. So what you can do is, now that you've kind of analyzed the clash, you can tick beside the clash and create an issue. And basically you can just, when you go down to here, you can go create an issue and go clash. And what AC also does, you can see up here, you can actually select what you want. So is it the radiator clashing with the desk, or is it the desk kind of clashing radiator? So I would say the desk. So the desk needs to move. So once you select that, you can see it starts generating an issue for you. And basically it starts actually filling all that information out for you here on the right hand side. So I know this is a desk clashing with a radiator. So what I could do then, assign that issue to the relevant party. So if I just go TBI, I can actually assign it to the company, or if I know who the person is who's responsible, I know it's Veronica because I know she's generally looks after the models. So I can actually assign that to her. And then what else also I can do then is I can assign a watcher. So I know the person or the radiator is Neil. He's Neil from Tritech. So if I go Neil DV, sorry, should be a Neil there. This guy here, Neil DV from Tritech. If I select him, I can put him as a watcher, just so he knows that there's a clash there. And then what you can do then as well, in location, you can actually set a location as well. So I know it's the west building. I can go second floor, location details, sample room, due date. I want it to be done by tomorrow. Start date is today. So you can fill out all this information. And then what you can also do is, like, there's a root cause. So basically it's just design coordination. That's all it is. Like, and then you can add as well. You can see add them comments. I'll just put in test because there's going to be a couple of subcontractors giving out, going to be raising issues against them. So that's the test. So basically in model coordination, you've created an issue like that. And so if I kind of X out of that, so even if you, what else do you have as well? You also have an activity log in ACC. So, you have an activity log. So this is your story. So you can see this started down here at 10:20. Placement of your issue. It has the clash between the type, the clash. It has all this information. See, it was assigned to Veronica. Neil was added. So it has it's like a whole kind of paper trail of what happened from start to finish. Like, and as the issue kind of gets resolved and progressed, that would be everything will be tracked in the activity log. What also you can do in the issue is as well, you can change the status. So if I hit that little kind of pen beside that, see the way you have all these different statuses as well. So that's open. So what I can do is, or whoever that gets assigned to, once they've received it, they can change it to in progress. So they're actively looking at the issue, and then once they're finished, they can actually select completed as well. So then once I know it's completed, I can go in, I can review it, and then I can just change it to in review. So ACC is good like that. You can tinker a lot with the issues and the settings. And then what you can also do as well, once say it was completed, what you can also do is you can actually report that as a PDF as well. So you can actually create a PDF report of your issue. So if I just X that, I can X that as well. So in your model browser as well, all the issues that were created, there's like a little issue symbol there on the left hand side. So you can actually select that. And these are all the issues that have been created in that model space. So these are all issues that I've created previously. So you can kind of go in here. You can see here, if I select this is something I've done previously. See if you can, oh yeah. So, sorry, add that. Just what you can do is, because all these issues are placed on model or on the model element as well, it'll always bring you to that model element as well. So like if I assign that to a relevant contractor, say it's the electrical or the mechanic, whatever, if I assign that to them and they go to the issue section, it'll bring me to that location, to bring me to that model, so they know it's them, or you know what it's interfacing with, is instead of having to open up the model and try to navigate to where you're going. So show you now as well. Let's go out here. So basically, this will work. So it's just one way of kind of capturing and recording all the issues and all the clashes. So that's what we're predominantly trying to do here on ECD, is basically we get all the task teams to share their models, we consume the models, and then what we do is we run an automatic clash detection, and then we go down through the clashes and create issues if we think they're valid issues. Okay, that's, I think the kind of, so that's kind of the issue section, I suppose, in ACC. I'll also show you as well. So as well.
Sorry, Daniel, just when
Yep.
you're there, do you, when you at the start there, when you're getting your models and you're picking the ones you're going to clash, do you create a view of them so you can access particular? I just see up there, second down from model on the left.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can create views as well. So if I go to models, I think I can do this. So if I just say, if I want to select, say, the TBI and the Tritech, and if I open that in viewer, and you can save it as a view for just the Tritech and the mechanical and the furniture. You can actually save a view. I can say TBI versus TRI. You can make it private. Sorry, just test. You can save that view. So yeah, you're right, Gordon. If you, hopefully this will work now, and you can save it to the docs space as well, that view as well. So say if I can want, I go, you can save it in your kind of model browser. So I'll just put it in my demo folder, and you can save that. And if you navigate to your demo folder, my demo folder. Sorry. Yeah, so there's the, Oh, sorry, is that, yeah.
So is that a link back to the coordination? Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, that's a
Okay.
different one I was playing with yesterday. But yeah, that goes back, that brings you back to your model coordination space. So you can create up your different views and stuff like that, and then save them back and share them across. Sorry, yeah,
Very good.
I selected the wrong one there, but you kind of get the, sorry, that's it there coming in there. So you can open that.
Have you
So
got any questions for me at the moment? No.
I have a question.
Yep.
Daniel, so you showed two clashes, and the second one, and the first one wasn't considered as a clash. The second one was a clash, the desk and radiator. So for the second issue, the desk and rad,
Yeah.
what do you recommend as a resolution? To move the desk, or that could be the easiest if it's allowed to do that?
So to see the way there, you can see that the desk is actually sitting over the radiator.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can see like the radiator is going where it has to go, because what I can do here is if I bring in, I select my models and I can bring in, say, this should be the structural model. Actually, I'll bring my architectural model in as well. If I just bring down my section plane, you can see distance off, pixel height. So you see the way you're looking at this in plan, like the radiators are generally centered. So the desk will have to move really. Like there's no, like you would never really ask the mechanical contractor to move their piping in their radiator to suit movable furniture. You know, but what you could do is I suppose the whole process, what you're doing is you're flagging it anyway. You know, and that's why I did. I kind of assigned it to the furniture task team, and then I put in the mechanical as a watcher, just to make sure that everybody is aware of the issue or the clash issue as well. You know, so that's what I would do. But then in this instance over here, we have a clash. You can see here, there's a downpipe here that's going
Yes.
down between a piece of furniture. Now, that really should be over here. So I've
Yes,
created an
in
issue
service,
here. Yeah, so like that should be going. So I've created an issue. If I do this,
Yeah,
I
that looks like a real issue. Yeah.
yeah. So if I go down through my issues, where is it now? Be gone. Should try to select. So I have this little node here. So I have already created an issue here. And see the way I have the description, pipe to move out south into the box area. So like we have these weekly meetings every Friday between the client, well, not the client, but the design team and all the other task teams. So my job is to get the task teams to share their models. I consume them, and then what I do is I create issues out of them. And then what we do is we have a kind of a quick run through of all the kind of issues and stuff like that. Which kind of I'll show you as well while we're here is in your model coordination space. If I go to build, so what we do on a Friday, we have a have like a BIM mock-up meeting, and what we do then is create all the items that I think are relevant. And what you can do then is all those issues that are created, you can link in the references. So see that this is the same issue we're just looking at there. And what you can do is you hit the 3 dots and you can add a reference. So you can see I've added a reference here. So if you select that reference, you can see this is it'll bring you to that issue.
So that's good, guys. And then a question for you: how do you run coordination meetings? So this is you're using online, but using minutes.
Yes. So if I go to, I'm just trying to think, if I go to model coordination, if you go into model coordination, right, and you go to your meetings, as you can see here, we have a model walkthrough meeting every Wednesday.
Okay.
I'll show you, I'll keep to the BIM mockup because it's a little bit cleaner. There's not as many items that have to go through, but that's it. So every Friday at the same time, we have our BIM mockup meeting. So I have all the items in here. So in meetings, sorry. So say you have your agenda. So if you wanted to create your follow-up, so what I do is in that last meeting, which was last Friday, I changed the agenda to minutes. So that means everything is locked. So these are all the open and ongoing issues. And basically anything that's open and ongoing will be continued on to the next meeting. All the closed items don't follow the next meeting. So when I go back into my meetings, if I create a follow-up, which is going to be for tomorrow, confirm, it basically creates a new meeting with all the open and ongoing items. So if each task team hasn't resolved their items, they'll continue on and keep on continuing on. So that's what we've kind of been doing, is to track all the items, because you don't want all the contractors coming in and just, you know, blurting out whatever they think. It's just one way to kind of keep a track. And what you can do as well, I think is handy, is see the way you can assign people. So when you go to these 3 dots, you can select a due date, and you can assign it, and then you can attach attachments, so like drawings and issues, and then references as well. And like what you can also do as well, in the right hand side, you can have your attendees. So if such and such attended, you can mark them as attendees. And what you can also do is you can filter, so assign to myself, and then what you can just say if it's open or ongoing, and then see that means I only have like 2 things to do, which it makes it a little bit user friendly, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I was just wondering there, so when you linked in that issue and you'd assigned that issue to somebody, it doesn't automatically show that person in the minutes. You have to do that as a second step.
Yeah, you have to do it as a second step, but I'd always say like I would create an item first and then add the reference secondary,
Okay.
in that kind of way, you know, because if I show you, if I have this other, if I go into my other meetings, if I go into my model walkthrough every Wednesday, you have multiple items. So, and there's not much references there, you know, kind of way. So I'd always, because what'll happen is they kind of, like an item would pass, the ball in court would be passed, you know, whether it goes to the design team or goes to the mechanical specialist or the electrical specialist. So as like an item would progress, it would go back and forth. But yeah, I would always create the item at add an assignee, and then if there's a reference there, like an RFI or a submittal, I could attach that then to that item as well. But it's useful in say my BIM mockup. It's useful to create the reference, so like for different issues and stuff, like it is handy, like, and it's a good way to kind of track it as well, like, you know. And I suppose as well, it just saves the user having to open up a model and trying to navigate where they have to go to, where they can just open ACC open their issue. Okay, that's assigned to me, and then go straight to it, like, and they can resolve the issue as quickly as possible, like. So that's kind of like so that's how I kind of track and manage my issues and my clashes, for a small area. The plan is to kind of roll it out more with the larger models. But I'll show you then as well. So that's just your design. That's just design collaboration. That's all the different contractors sharing and publishing their models. What I'll show you as well while we're here is the data that's actually going into the models and then how to extract that. So I'll just start at the top, because if you go into, so this is your BIM mockup space. So in the model coordination space, you basically, for your models, so you can select all your models like this and open in viewer. And so on this project, the client has asked us, they want a certain amount of asset information in the model. So they give us an AIR, an asset information requirements document. And basically they want ultimately this model be handed over to the facility manager. And basically has all this information that needs to be in the elements. So like your warranty dates, your install dates, and all this kind of information. So what we have to do as a main contractor, we actually have to manage all that information and make sure that all the task teams, all the subbies are pumping that information into the assets, as instead of just creating a generic item and just thrown in there. Like, it has to have, especially from a mechanical and electrical point of view, has to make you have to make sure that all the information is in the model. So one way we do this or interrogate the model is, so when all the models have been shared and published, there's this tool down the bottom left hand corner of the screen. This is your object table. And what I'll do is, if I select, if I select this, sorry, I select that, what will happen is it'll start extracting all the information for you. But what I'll do is I'll just narrow it down. If I select models here, I just want to see the kind of the electrical contractor. So I know this is the electrical contractor here, so I'll just select this model. If I select this model, yeah.
I think what's
So you
good as well, as you're going through stuff, the naming, if you're just taking a note of the naming and how easy it is to identify whose model. Yeah. Everybody taking notes there. Yeah. I'm taking notes, good.
So so as you can see then, once I select that model, it kind of only highlights all the electrical items in that space. So what I want to do then is I want to extract the relevant data. So in the column space over here, if I select columns, and you can see there, this is all the information that's been pumped into that model. But I know the parameter that the client has given me. So if I just type UCD, and you can see here, these are all there's like 15 parameters. And this is all the description, family name, manufacturer, product name. So what I can do is I can add all those parameters. And what I could do then is apply that. And you can see if I expand, if I go up here now, of course it doesn't come in. But you can see all that information is starting to come in there. So, and what I can do then is I can actually export that as an Excel. So I can export this. Let's put this in the desktop. And you can actually export all this data, and you can actually interrogate that data as well. Like, and you can basically hand it over to the facilities manager, and he can inherit that, and he can kind of consume that the way he kind of wants to. Where is it now?
That's a one-way process. Because
yes.
yeah.
I open this now. can see there, see all the, you have your, all the headings that were there, all the 15 parameters were there, but you can see all the information. That's the room number, the warranty, the size, all that information gets exported. So that's, I suppose, one of the good things about ACC. On that object table, you can actually go back. You can actually export all that model data, like instead of having to open a model, export a table or stuff like that, you can just, as long as the models are published and shared and all the information is inputted correctly at the start, it makes life a whole lot easier.
And is this something that you do? You do instead of doing Kobe sheets for the?
This can be used. Yeah, this could be used for Kobe. Now, Kobe isn't a requirement on this project, so it's not something I have to worry too much about. But
Yeah.
I am in talks with the facility manager in UCD, and I have like a bi-weekly meeting with him, and he tells me which information he wants and how he likes to tweak it. So I just have to kind of go back and forth between ourselves and the mechanical and electrical subcontractors and make sure they're inputting the relevant information and make sure that everybody's using the same parameters as well, because you're not getting a duplicate of parameters. Like, you're not getting 2 room numbers, 2 room names. You know, it's everybody has the same parameter. Like, you know.
Okay.
So that's, yes, it's a handy tool. It's important, but it's good. It's good to see, like, there's the, like, model coordination. It is quite a kind of a powerful tool. It's good. It's a good function of ACC. You know.
Just do you manage those all those shared parameters then on ACC?
Shared parameters on ACC. I wouldn't really manage them on ACC. So what we kind of did, or we inherited the shared parameters on from the architect. So we had given those parameters from the architect. Basically, it's up to kind of me to export a shared parameters file from our kind of base architecture model. So any information he's given me, the facilities manager, I have to update that in our shared parameters file. And then what I'll do is I'll share that shared parameters file out to the subcontractors, and then they'll bring it into their model and update their model as we go. Like, it's an ongoing process, Gordon. It's it's not completely ironed out, but like that's the kind of the high level plan, like, you know.
Okay. I'm just conscious of the time going on there as well, and you mentioned Insight.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the linkage between what you're doing in Insight and how you're managing.
Yeah. So I suppose I'll just start from the top. So in ACC, you have your Insight. So if I go projects, so I'll just pick my project where it's gone. So in your drop down, the top left hand corner, you have your insights. This will work now. So basically, using ACC to basically house all the information. So whether it's an RFI, it's a submittal, it's a model, it's an issue, if everything is kept under kind of the one umbrella, you can basically view and manage all that information. So you have your dashboards. You see, this is my dashboard. You can see open RFIs, you can see submittals, you can see, you know, design packages, and then say from a from an HSE kind of point of view, you can see all your risks as well, your high risk factors, your RFI risk factors. Then you can go look at your design. So it's basically ACC is basically extracting all this information and then kind of graphically kind of representing this in a kind of like a user kind of friendly kind of way. Now I don't use it too much, but like our design manager, they would look at this for like open RFIs and open submittals and stuff like that, and how to see the RFI progress and stuff like that. So it's just a graphical kind of way we kind of look at things. As you can see, there's quality inspections. So you see completed, in dispute, in progress, pending. And then one thing, so there's, I suppose, safety as well. So everything, like the project team, the whole project team works in and out of ACC. So everybody is talking to each other in some shape or form, and everybody's sharing the data in some shape or form as well. Let's see if this is working now. And what I'll show you as well. So this is a record of like safety tours that have been on site as well. So this is from our contracts manager and our business partner and stuff like that. So you have all the information kind of gets pumped into this as well. So it's just like make sure like it's not just like models or drawings or anything. It's like safety walks and all the promotional activities and stuff like that. So everything is kind of fed into ACC, and everything can be graphically kind of represented via Insight.
So
and
that
then
was a Power BI card that you had added on there. So is that picking up the data from ACC or an external Excel?
I think this is from ACC itself.
Okay.
And one thing I'll show you as well, just I know we're conscious of time, we have this new function in ACC. It's Insight Builder.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, this is, as you can see here, the showing it. I'll see you now. See, this is it's in beta. So we'll be able to build our own. I'll just dashboards. So if I go to RFIs or admin night even. So basically, I'm kind of on multiple projects, but I can look at all the different projects that are known to us. So if I see the way these are all our project numbers there, so I can add in the different the projects as well. So I can look at my own project and look at all the different see like users and stuff like that. I can look at everybody else's, and basically that's just from an admin kind of point of view. But what I can also go, if I just go back to slide. So they're only kind of rolling this out, Gordon, the Insight Builder to us. We're only getting to start play with it now.
Yeah,
But,
I was just having a call the other day with a guy in Scanstech, and he'd started to use the Insight Builder to get the data more sort of drilled down for what he was looking for.
yes, yeah, more refined, yeah. So there's the RFI dashboard. See this. So if I can select the RFI, see the way you can have. But then what I can do is, yeah, you can see the open RFIs, draft RFIs, close. So they see the way you can see average days to respond, 29.5. So it drills right down into the information, the cost impact as well. And you can see you have all the RFIs up in here as well. And then of course you have your URL links as well, which will probably bring it to that. And see these are all the different managers and stuff like that. So yeah, it really drills into the information.
Is there anybody any questions at the moment? No, because this has been fantastic what you're showing us, and it's exactly there. And we've now got two more things we can add to a presentation in terms of using the meetings to run a clash meeting, right? And using the object table to extract some data. But just if you have it there, right? What you said at the very start was really interesting, was that you stripped the building back,
Yes.
the structure, and did you scan that and then bring that scan back to the structural engineers to check against their model?
So what we did is showing it. Yeah, so we stripped it down. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just open.
Yeah, I was hoping you might have had something there with it.
Yeah, I do.
Because I've just been looking at some software there for doing validation checking, and
Yes.
did you use that type of software?
We use Verity to verify the existing, or sorry, the design versus the reality.
Okay.
So that's what we predominantly use throughout the company. Just bring this. I'll show you now. was the presentation I did earlier for UCD. So you can see there. Can you see my? So you can see.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is we were using the RTC 360 scanner, and you can see that's the existing building. So we basically, our chief surveyor Yuri, he came along and he scanned the building, and basically what happened was he scanned once the building had been stripped down to its existing frame. He scanned that, and then basically he checked the existing. The existing design model versus reality, and then he verified whether it was in tolerance. So remember that 25 mil tolerance. So anything that was in 25 mil tolerance, we basically kind of left it as is. But what we had to do then is like the existing kind of structure had to be kind of anything that was out of tolerance had to be updated. So basically, we had like a task of opening up the Revit models and basically bringing in the Revit scans and basically updating the model to basically represent what was out of tolerance and stuff like that, which we could then push to the other task teams and other not to the design team, but other tasks to make sure whatever they're modeling was in the correct kind of location, like because
Okay. So you adjusted the structural model.
yes, we adjusted the structural model. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so and we're still updating it as we kind of go, because it's every time you go to a different part, there's like, as you can see here, see the on the right hand side there, you see the downstand beams.
Yeah.
So like I think the model that was given us, these were actually a lot lower than we actually thought. Well, I don't say a lot lower, but they were maybe like 50 or 100 mils lower than the model. So the subbies had modeled their conduits and their ducting higher than was actually in reality,
Okay.
and like they can't just go down and up like that. They have to kind of go straight. So all that had to be updated and reflected back into the model. Like, so it's an ongoing process, but I think we're over the hump really, So
Very good. The,
um,
anything else you want to just take us through? We've got a couple of minutes left.
I suppose what I'll do is I'll just show you what I'll put up is the there's a QR code here, if you can see that. So if any of your students want to scan that, we actually have graduate opportunities. So if any of your students want to scan that, you can.
Okay. That's not up yet, though.
Sorry, apologies. Sorry. You see that? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So if any of your, like, we have all these kind of graduate and apprentice opportunities. So if any of your students are finishing up this year and they're looking for a graduate role with us, we have multiple jobs throughout the country.
Yeah. I'm for the field. Yeah. Some of the guys here were on placement last year with you, so that was good.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We've always got a good relationship with you guys.
Good to hear.
Okay. Any questions, everybody? Not one question.
That's rag week for you.
Daniel,
there's a lot of water and coffee in here. Yeah.
Daniel,
okay. Yeah. Is there some other question there online?
Yeah, they were
No, breaking up there.
There's lots of intolerance, lots of imperfections between the model and the building, or how do you cope?
Sorry, can you just repeat the start of that? I didn't get the start of that.
Neil, you were breaking up there. We couldn't hear your question.
Yeah. My question. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My question about the last slide when you verified the building against the Revit model.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of differences between model and the building? And if you have any, how do you cope with these differences?
So I think I'll just try and show you if I can. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'll see if I can try and show you. So basically, verifications. Just 2 seconds. So a big part of our job was updating the model as per the reality. So what we did is when our surveyor came out and basically checked that, say, like the columns were within the tolerance,
Mhm.
it basically meant that we didn't really have to update the model. So the whole plan was, just try and see if I can open this first. Do this. Hopefully this will work.
And then you upload the new model to ACC and then do the clashes again.
Yes.
Okay.
It's working now. So you can see here. So what we did is, these are the columns. These are the. Can you see that? Okay, can you?
Yeah. Mhm,
So
yeah.
these are the existing columns. So what we do is, I export, say, the existing design model. I export the existing design model, and I sent that to our surveyor to verify. And you can see all the elements that are in green here. They're the ones that are within tolerance, and the ones that are yellow are out of tolerance. So anything that's out by 25 mil, they're out of tolerance. So basically, what you could do is you could identify which ones are out of tolerance. So you could basically navigate to your Revit model, go to these columns and update them as per reality, instead of having to go and check all the columns. What we
Yeah, of course, just the yellow ones. Yeah.
It's just the yellow ones. So it's handy, like, and we did the same for like the downstand beams, or the beams that are, yeah,
Lower.
the downstand beams underneath the floors and stuff like that. So you could basically verify them. If they're out of tolerance, it basically meant you'd have to update them, you know. But what we tried to do is try to do a visual check as well to make sure that
So this is
What one?
the purple one, I think, is occluded, I think. So if there's enough, if there's,
too many or something.
I think the purple one is occluded. I think there should be a Verity tab. Is there a Verity tab that says occluded? I think it's occluded, Gordon. I think that's what's happened.
Right.
I think. Very
Okay.
sure. Just trying to think.
Okay. Sorry, Daniel, we're going to have to vacate this room.
Yes.
Right. And because I can get myself down a rabbit hole looking at all this stuff.
Yes.
I have loads of bits of questions for you. But that's been really, really informative and really helpful. And myself, I've learned new things to do in ACC that I didn't know about, which we'll get a look at for this next presentation. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah.
For that. And lads, we'll give a round of applause. Thanks. That was really much appreciated. And sure, I'll be in touch with you and we'll keep in contact, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, feel free to reach out. There's no problem at all. I can answer any questions on that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel,
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.